Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo! Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And today I actually want to take some time to talk about this big slim mamma jamma right here, the USS Discovery. Now it was funny, Gregor actually messaged this to me, and Gregor is really helpful with some of our breaking down the math and how the game works, but this actually came out right at a year ago. We made our first video September 8th, 2020. Well, the day of today is September 6th, 2020. It's almost a year later, but I wanted to talk about it from various angles, the good, the bad, and just in general, why you should really get this ship, if for no other reason than warp summoning, which we can show off in a little bit. But you know, right now ship procurement is a huge issue for this model in the game. The only way to get this without whipping out the Amex card and swiping right on Scopely, that's two references there, you can catch them in a second, is to get through the big event stores, because it's not something that you can normally get through just everyday grinding. So if you want a USS Discovery, you have to look for, say, you know, the big event store coming at the end of the Next Generation Arc. And should I go for this instead of, say, officers? That's something you have to decide. But in this video, I want to cover everything that this ship kind of entails, all the things that you can go through, including the refinery charts, so you can make that decision. This also allows you to better procure the officers in the officer recruit tab, though not very well. And what I mean by that is you just don't get a lot in the Discovery recruits. You see, I've got one here. I'm going to do one chest pull for you today, and we'll get, ooh, what do we go get? What do we go get? I already know it's not going to be good, so let's just skip it. And well, I got a Pike Shard, one Michael Burnham, and one Tyler, Emperor Giorgio, Saru, Tilly. No Captain Tilly, which is what you really would like to have, and no Giorgio shards. And I want to show real quick my officers tab to show you where my Discovery officers are currently at. And I'm sure it's going to be similar for many of you who've been playing with this for quite some time. And scroll down, it's just always got to go through all this. So I still don't have Michael Burnham because I did not do any auctions for her, or the leaderboard event. So I'm at 48 out of 110. That's how much I've gotten in a year of Michael Burnham. Now I did get Giorgio thanks to this last leaderboard we just ran, and you see I've got Saru ready to upgrade, I've got Stamets, and then Culber, which are very important, and we'll talk about those in a second. But that is how you go through your primary sourcing of the officers, because let's be honest, as a ship, the ship is really bad.
I don't know how to put this, but kind of a big deal.
It is not a combat ship at all. In fact, it's probably the worst combat ship of the specialty ships that are out. The Franklin is better than this. And you're going, well, why would you say that, Rev? Well, not only are the weapons themselves simply not that strong. So if we click on our little button here and we look, they're okay, I guess. But the biggest thing is the health mark. So right now mine is tier 5, which is lower level than some of y'all because I focused on just hard grinding to get summoning versus maxing out the Discovery then doing it, which probably would have been a better method. We'll look at that chart in just a second. But it's the health number. So like look at 94,000. Now compare that to, say, my tier 5 hijack Mayflower, 404,000. Yikes. Both explorers, both tier 5, both 3-star ships, but you can see the huge difference between attack and health, and even in shields. Now bear in mind that I'm not really loading this thing out for any type of combat. I'm not going for max crew stats or anything. Really, I only use this crew above. The crew I'm using is Stamets for the network navigator, so increasing the cost efficiency of jumping and summoning with the Discovery. Then I've also got this ability with Culber, increased cost efficiency of jumping and discovering or summoning with the Discovery. And then finally, I've got Stamets there simply for the boost of synergy. I want full synergy when I'm running this for as much efficiency as possible, because at the end of the day, it really is just a taxi. It is a big, flat, weird looking taxi. It's an interesting ship design. I'm not necessarily saying I dislike it, it's just different. But anyway, that's really its only main use in the game. However, that use could be extremely important for you, and it is as you level up. If you're in the 30s, 40s, most people will tell you it is a fantastic ship for that purpose. Let's take a look at the Refinery. One thing that is a big negative for me is the mycelium greenhouse, which is your ability to store mycelium. The refined amount that you would actually use to jump is limited. You can actually only hold 18,000 at any given time. So once you reach that mark, you can't refine anymore. Like, I've actually never been able to use my mycelium refinery. So if I swap over here to the Refinery tab, and I go to my Discovery, the only thing I can do every day is my Discovery Refinery. I can never do the actual harvest to storage because it's sitting there maxed. And that's something that Scopely needs to really increase. There's no reason it should be that low. But let's talk about the Discovery Refinery real quick, because this is something you can do even if you don't have a Discovery. If you don't have a Discovery, you can still go through the Recruit tab, or I'm sorry, the Discovery Refinery tab, and the max that you can get is through on you see on the chart here. You get speed ups every day, which are nice. Those do really help. You can get the minor commendations. You've also got the Discovery Recruit tokens, and obviously those numbers go up as you work on maxing out your Discovery. And then the spore drive components, which is what you need to then upgrade the ship itself, and then finally to go and get some of those researches that you need. And we'll look at those here in a second. So the refinery is actually pretty nice. It's not the worst refinery in the game. It's really not. If the ship was better, I think we'd have a better view of it. I think the biggest negative is just the inability to quickly source some of the officers that you need, because right now you're looking at a year or more without help from leaderboards to unlock some of the epics, and that's just to unlock them, and that's entirely too long. I'm not saying that you should be able to get all these officers in 2 or 3 months, because I feel like anytime you discuss with Scope, like, hey, we need better sourcing, like, what do you want? You want to max tomorrow? I'm like, no, I just want to be able to reasonably procure them. And right now, officers like Giorgio and Burnham are not reasonably procured, and we can't even mention Lorca because, well, he's never there except for the ×2 events, and those are awful. Absolutely awful. So anyway, let's talk more about the Discovery itself. Let's talk about how the ship works in the background. The refinery is fine, but we'll see our chest pulls. We'll see all that. I always do a full chest pull, by the way, because the discount is fine. So let me show you how it actually works if you've never seen this, if you're a newer player. So right now, my home base is in a Klingon system, Lepig, but I'm going to use the Black Alert ability, which is simply the ability to instantly summon to any system. So let's just say I wanted to go to an armada in Azadi, but I was running late. I got the notification on my phone and I was going to be late there. So what I'll do is, let's do phone. Is there one on the edge? So I'm going to have to fly. All right, so let's say I want to do this Pirate Stronghold. What I can do is I can hit go and this screen comes up, and then I will Black Alert jump there. It's going to take your normal animation time to jump there, but then it's going to appear and bam, now we're in system. 20 seconds in. So what's going to happen is when it gets there, I'm going to let it stop, and then I can summon using this button any ship I have, regardless of its warp range. I mean, here, let me prove it. Y'all know Lepig is like way out in the distance. So let's pull out a Fortunate. Look at that. You know, Fortunate can't get there. It's out of range. So we're going to bring that Fortunate to battle. You're about to summon your ship to a system that is beyond its warp range. You won't be able to recall your ship back unless it's destroyed or summoned back. So you do get a warning, which is nice. Summoned. Bam. There's a Fortunate ready for an armada. Actually, it's not. Go hit that bandit and die. So that is the main purpose of the Discovery. And this can be very useful in obviously your territory capture battles and things of that nature. The only real drawback is just the time it takes to go through the process of maxing out your Discovery. I think Gregor says that 11 months of grinding theirs, that I think theirs is at tier 8. And the process to get officers is kind of, I don't even want to use the word convoluted, it's just bad. But at the same time, there is good here. You know, to me, this is a must-have ship.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Even though it's not a good ship. And let's bring up the refinery chart again. And one of the reasons I say that is when you get it max, you get 4 one-day speed ups every single day with this max Discovery. Now, I've not maxed mine yet, so obviously I'm not getting those yet. But you can see the benefits there, especially as you're leveling up as a player. The warp summoning to help you get to armadas, like those Eclipse armadas and stuff. It actually adds a strategy portion of the game, and it's totally something that I recommend as a newer player, if you can see in an event store, to get a Discovery. Now, sometimes they limit what in terms of how much you can get a ship to half in some of those big event stores. But it's certainly something that you want to work on procuring. We can only simply ask that they make it better, because the mycelium mining is kind of ridiculous. It really is pointless, honestly, when they run the anomalous phenomena event every Sunday, and I do recommend that you complete it every Sunday. And then going through the actual mining process is pointless unless you're out of mycelium, but then you can't really hold enough to do enough with. But the taxi function, the fact that you can call the USS Uber to bring your ship wherever you need to, is super valuable in the game. And then the speed ups that you're able to get have definitely helped me as I'm going into the 40s. So I've already hit the 40 button thanks to a Twitch stream earlier. If you haven't followed on Twitch, please do. And then I'll be using speed ups to catch up all the other stuff that I need for research wise. But there's so many different things that the Discovery could be. Like one thing Gregor mentioned, it could be a great scout hunter if you saw scouts, but because of its actual stats, it's awful. It can't really work as that. Even a max one will struggle with a good PvP crew. But if you're using a PvP or PvE crew, then you're not using Stamets, Culber, and then whatever you use for full synergy. So at the end of the day, it's a good ship. It's very, very useful and important to have in your fleet. It's simply limited in how effective it is. When you're around out of gas, then it's really kind of blah. But overall, it is worth getting. I want to remind people of the Discovery and talk about its mechanic real quick, simply because, hey, event store's coming up. You got to wonder what you want to buy. We'll talk about officers, but you need to know about this too. So if you enjoyed this video, well, you know what you got to do. Smash the like button if you'd be so kind. And if you want to know about stuff coming up in the game, comment section below, as we always do. Maintenance is tomorrow. Be excited. Let me know what you think about the Discovery, officer sourcing, and all the things that need to get better down below. We'll have our dev Q&A hopefully by next week or the end of this week. We'll see. Live long and prosper. Stay safe, other Space Cowboys. We'll catch you in the next one. Deuces. That's me. Toodles. An even better outro than the intro. Yeah! Woo!